Hello and welcome to my Scream 6 live discussion. You will be bleeding very shortly and everyone you love will die. Enjoy.
You're this perp back with another live discussion. This is take two because the first one was kind of wish-washy, so I just decided just to start over. But I'm not alone. I got my homie Rashad G reviews in the building. Welcome, sir.
Yo, it was good, fam. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. Yeah, I had to just like I told you, I had to just restart it just because I just wasn't feeling it. I just wanted to restart it, so I gotta completely do the thumbnail again, but that's not gonna be an issue.
Okay.
It's not gonna be an issue. But like I said, if you didn't catch it the first time, I was just pretty much saying I have two reviews out. I have my non-spoiler and my spoiler for Scream 6. I've seen the movie twice already. How many times have you seen it? You've seen it just once?
I've seen it once, yeah. And I probably won't see it
Okay.
again until it's streaming.
Oh man, that's crazy. But we're gonna get into that. And I was also saying like this is the reception of this movie has been very positive, compared to other legacy horror movies that have been released like Halloween Ends and Kills and stuff like that. There are some people that are kind of mixed with it or just don't absolutely love it or don't like it at all. I'm sure that you probably weren't in love with this movie, but we'll get into all that because I want to kind of get into just how I came to just liking Scream overall. Because at first, I was never like the biggest Scream fan like that. Never really fucked with Ghostface like that. As far as when we compare it to like Freddy, Jason, and stuff like Jason, Chucky, and stuff like that. That's the stuff that I really rocked with, And I even remember back in 2000 when Scream 3 came out. If you were a kid around that time, they had those Ghostface masks with the blood, the fake blood. That you had the heart that you pump, and like fake blood will come down on the mask and stuff. Like I'm that old. I remember being Ghostface when I was younger and stuff like that. But what really brought me around to this franchise was Scream 4. Scream 4 did something very special that was like made me go back and look at these movies in a different light because the whole meta stuff and the whole, poking fun at other horror movies and other movies and different genres and stuff like that and setting up all the rules. So, that's just kind of like my little, history with Ghostface and just Scream as a whole. Like, so are you a fan of the Scream franchise, or are you kind of like the same way, just mad, just kind of casual here and there? Just I'll go check out a Scream movie if it's looks interesting or something like that.
Yeah, I fall into the side of like just a casual fan because when the first one dropped, I was actually in high school. I was like 16, 17 when that first one came out. And yeah, showing my age, right? And bro, that first movie was lightning in a bottle. It was very different for its time, and it was like one of the first meta movies that I've ever seen because the catalyst to Scream was New Nightmare. Wes Craven did New Nightmare first. We kind of experimented with the meta thing, and by the time he did the first Scream, like he had mastered it. So that first one was like dope as hell. And then of course they did two, and two was like a copy and paste of the first one. But I think that was kind of intentional to show that, sequelitis and shit. But
Mm.
after the second movie, I fell back. I never seen 3. I never seen 4. I watched
Oh,
5 last year, and I wasn't really. I didn't hate the movie, but I wasn't impressed. You know what I mean? So yeah, my history with this franchise is not like, I'm not what you would call a super fan, but I'm not. I don't want to consider myself a hater either. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I'm just a casual fan, but I'm a big fan of that first movie.
bro, I'm telling you, go watch Scream 4. That will I think that will open your eyes up to like just the franchise, because that changed shit for me, because it's like, oh shit, I've never seen that done before, or you know what I'm saying? It was just one of those movies that is just like, it was kind of refreshing. Where I was like I was in like the same boat as you. Like the movies and Ghostface never really hit with me. And I think you mentioned in your review that he's never scary. But the thing about Ghostface, right? What is kind of terrifying about him and why he kind of works, and I think, more so than in the meta stuff, it's just that he could literally be anybody. And
Facts.
he's always around.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? He's always around. And that's what's kind of creepy, and it makes it more realistic compared to compared to other franchises where you can suspend your disbelief with Michael because you don't know exactly what he is. Freddy, he just only pops up in your nightmares, but like there are legit serial killers out here all the time, like and they get glorified a lot. So I can appreciate Scream kind of mirroring like just kind of reflecting that in real life and stuff like that, where somebody could sit there and be inspired by a Scream movie and start, killing. Because even going back to what was it, the Dark Knight shooting, where the guy killed a bunch of people and he didn't stab them or nothing, but like I'm saying, he still, it kind of brings you back to Scream 2 in that opening scene where where you think you're the most comfortable, that's where Ghostface takes his advantage and whatnot. So yeah, I just find it to be a fascinating franchise. And I was saying, I've always said that I feel like Scream is the most consistent out of all the slashers, because they never had to really deal with a complete reboot and stuff like that. Everything is still
true. That's true.
Everything is still like, they had like TV series, but that's not connected to anything. So they never had no real spin-offs or anything like that, which I definitely think will possibly change in the future, just based off this movie, them talking about franchises and whatnot. So it's very fascinating to see where this goes. But so let's get into this, because I wanted to talk about the beginning of this film, and let's talk about those opening kills, because I've never, like I said, all the opening kills have been very different. Some people like others than previous ones than newer ones. You got Scream 1's opening kill, which that's the most iconic one, I would say. Like, what's your favorite scary movie? It's iconic. Then 2 with the movie theater, that's another one that's good. Then 3, they kind of play around with certain things. I'm not gonna spoil it for you because you haven't seen it, but I would recommend checking out 3 and 4 just to kind of get a good sense of just all the different reveals and stuff like that, because I find that to be the most fascinating thing. And then Scream 4's opening is like a lot. I see it to be a lot of people's least favorite because of how they go about it. Scream 5 kind of mirrors Scream 1, and then now Scream 6 is the first time we gotten like 2 different kind of kills. And I just like that whole setup where you got old girl with the yellow dress, I forget her name, the actress's name.
Oh, isn't that Hugo Weaving's daughter?
Yeah, something like that.
Bro, she was
in Ready Player One as well.
Yeah.
And she was on this like, what is it, all night like speed dating thing, whatever. Like, she's been keeping in contact with this one person, and then she ends up and I like how, because this is very different, because you're so used to just hearing Ghostface. That's the first thing you hear is Ghostface. The fact that this person is just using their normal voice to kind of lure this person into this alleyway, and a lot of people say, how believable is that? You know, if you're trying to get some coochie or whatever your preference is, like you're going to do whatever, you know what I'm saying? Like in that moment. But then she gets killed by that goofy dude, Jason. And I like his line too. He's like, "Now I see red." Like, you know, that was pretty dope. I like that.
Yeah.
And then he takes off his mask, because that's never happened in the beginning of a Scream film before. Then, you know, he comes back and you find out that him and his roommate are trying to finish Tara and Richie's movie. And then his homie Greg's not even there, but his phone's still there, and he gets a call from Greg, and the fact that he's sitting there entertaining that shit is so weird. I was just like, are y'all that, like, you know what I'm saying? But I like that where he's playing like the whole hot and cold game,
Right.
and then we get reveal of another Ghostface where he doesn't give a fuck about none of these stab movies or anything like that. Where he's like, who gives a fuck about the movies? And like, how'd you feel about that whole opening kill and stuff like that?
I thought the opening was brilliant, man. I because Scream has a formula, I guess. Even though I only watched the first two within the fifth movie. So yeah, I thought the opening was brilliant. I didn't expect the kills to happen that fast. So I was like, okay, shit, this is what we're doing. And they showed your boy all chopped up in the fridge. So I said, you know what? I already like this better than part 5. Let's go. So yeah, that opening scene got me pumped for this movie. And yeah, your girl, I just know her last name is Weaving, Hugo Weaving's daughter. Man, did she look sexy?
Samara, I think it's Samara Weaving.
Man, she was wearing that damn dress. I said,
yeah,
look, I ain't trying. I don't mean to sound racist, but usually white girls ain't got that much bounce in their booty, man. When I say that butt was bouncing in that dress, I said, yo.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. That thing was moving. I was like, okay, all right. Do you gotta die right now? Like,
for real?
Right,
well, they do that too. They have to kill the sexiest chick in the beginning. Drew Barrymore, Jada Pinkett. Now this chick.
Yeah. So they're keeping up with tradition. Like a lot of these movies kind of mirror one another, especially these new movies. They're like pretty much mirroring the second Scream in this, but kind of doing something different, but also doing something familiar. That's why I like to kind of frame it pretty much that, a lot of people's like, oh, they just did 2 over again. It's just the same thing. But no, it is the setting is different. We're in New York now, somewhat fake New York, but it's not that aside. You know what I'm saying? I guess that was, I guess that it would have been more expensive for them to actually shoot in New York or something like that. That's probably why they chose like a different location, but kind of built some of these sets to make it look like New York. But
that was part of the reason. That was part of the reason why I wanted to see the movie, because I was about to give up after that last movie, but the fact that it takes place in New York, I was like, okay, Jason takes Manhattan vibes. All right, let's do it. So yeah, that's one of the reasons I was down for it.
Yeah, and I like the opening kill and whatnot, and I like how they kind of set this whole story up where we get reintroduced to the new characters, like Sam when she's sitting there with the therapist.
Right.
That was a dope scene where like she's where the therapist asks her like, oh, I need details. Like, yeah, I stabbed a dude like 22 times and slit his throat and whatnot. The dude's like, oh shit. When she's like describing that and she says it so nonchalant,
right.
I was just like, yeah, that was really creepy.
Yeah.
And I called that after Scream 5. I was like, bro, they need to make a flipware character, let her embrace that darkness. And I ain't seen nobody else kind of like really talk about that or nothing. Immediately I was like, that would make her character much more interesting, because in 5 it wasn't necessarily her acting. I guess it's what she was given. She wasn't that compelling, as a lead actress. But now it's just like, it seems like she got way more to do, and she's really showing off like her acting range and whatnot. Jenna Ortega.
Yeah. But she definitely stepped the game up compared to the last movie for sure.
Yeah, Jenna Ortega will be looking good. Yes, she was looking good in here. Like all the females were looking good in this. You know what I'm saying? Like you got Jenna
Facts.
Ortega. She out
Facts.
here just partying like shit didn't even happen just prior like last year or something like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like a
Mm-hmm.
year has went by. Sam's still doing the therapy stuff. Interesting line of dialogue going back to the therapist where she pretty much says like, yeah, I kind of enjoyed it pretty much. Like she enjoyed like yeah, like it looked like you enjoyed stabbing the fuck out of Richie too. Like
Mm-hmm.
so I like that. But going back to Tara, and she is out here partying and living her best life. She's trying to just completely like forget that 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 whole situation in Woodbury, and she also runs into the guy Jason in the beginning too, which was interesting. I was like, oh, that's so they know each other. So
Mm-hmm.
that's interesting because you know in the first movie, a lot of people, well, the first not the first movie, but Spring Five, a lot of people suspected Tara to be a killer.
Mm-hmm.
Still not going to rule that out. You
Yeah.
know, still not going to rule that out because, like I said, Scream does a good job of like letting things linger. Like I said, going into Scream 2 into 3, like there's some characters that carry over into that movie. So, and some things get revealed about them as well. So, yeah, we get caught up with Tara. She's there with Mindy and also Chad. You know, they're out here in New York. They got a new roommate named Quinn, which, you know, I didn't catch this at first. Like, you know, she's already having sex in the beginning of this film. And I was like, yo, this never happens in these films. Like, that's like breaking rule number one. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Or one of the cardinal rules that they kind of
Mm-hmm.
set up for the
Mm-hmm.
like never have sex in these movies. And I thought about that's so interesting that they never had sex in none of these movies. But and it's also weird now that you know the reveal, like that whole shit is kind of weird to me. I was like, who the hell was that? Was that her brother or you know her dad? Like just pretending, like that's just weird as fuck out there. Like, but anyways,
Well, yeah,
you
we're
know,
kind of mirroring the first movie where Stu act like he was stabbing Billy, but come to find out he was. I guess he was like
ooh,
just fake stabbing him. You know what I'm saying? And
ooh,
yeah, yeah. So that's the first thing I thought of. Like now, I called the killers from the beginning. Well, I called that it was gonna be, you know, the dad and the dude, but I didn't know about the girl. So when it revealed that it was her, I said, Billy from the first movie. Okay, faked his death.
mm.
Yeah.
You know, and that's a theme with all the movies. Like you know who the killer is, like right off the rip. But I
Mm-hmm.
will say they do trip you up with 3 and 4. 4 probably got the best. 4 definitely probably got the best. That's what so you gotta watch that shit because I was like,
Okay.
wow,
Well,
I never
honestly,
seen that.
honestly, in the first movie, once again, I definitely called Billy, but I didn't think Stu. I thought it was gonna be Jamie Kennedy's character when I first saw the first
Yeah,
one. I was
because you
like,
know, because you would suspect that, and that goes into another one of my predictions. Like for Scream 7, I'll talk about that later.
mm-hmm,
Um, I might make a whole separate video on it, but I want to like talk to you about it and see how you feel about it. Um, so yeah, now they're all in college. Sam's kind of still on her P's and Q's, like she's not really out here partying, nothing like that. She's still kind of dealing with she I think when she met the therapist, she says she hasn't seen Billy in like 6 months, so she's
yeah,
been kind of making somewhat of improvements. And but she shows up to this party and tases a dude in the balls because previously, like you know, Taro is about to you know go with this creep. You know what I'm saying? But
mm-hmm,
then like she has really good friends. They'd be like, no, no, we know about him. You don't
right,
want to go upstairs with him. And even that kind of we see the first hints of like Chad and Tara being the thing, which I like that because like you know Chad, they gave him a lot more to do in this movie as well as
mm-hmm,
Mindy's character. They made him really likable. I still don't trust them though. I'll get into that later.
okay.
But yeah, how'd you feel about like just you know the beginning, just kind of getting reintroduced to these characters again?
Yeah, the beginning worked for me. You know, my problems don't come until like the third act. Like so yeah, so everything up to that point I enjoyed. Like so the beginning, like reintroducing the characters and their situations, what they're going through. I thought all of that worked for me. It wasn't until the third act where I said, "Man, nah, this okay." They kind of fucked the movie up with this one.
Okay, we'll get into
We'll
negatives
get into
very
that.
shortly.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that. So yeah,
Mhm.
then then what ends up happening is, they hear in the news that, there's more like, Ghostface killings going around, or they
Mhm.
feel like it's starting again, and we're back at it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So then we get introduced to a bunch of slew of different characters. So how I'm gonna break this down
Mhm.
to kind of make this go by a little bit quick. We don't got to go through like each scene. Um, we're gonna do positives and negatives, but I named it differently.
Okay.
I just it's gonna go by the worst kills, which will be the negatives,
Mm.
and the best kills. So starting off with the worst kills. The only thing I'll start off by saying is the only issue that bothers me. I know some people had problems with the third act. That's not an issue for me. The issue for me is that goddamn ladder. Not the kill, because the kill was dope. Like
Yeah.
Annika, whatever her name was,
Mhm.
that was an excellent kill. But my thing is
Woo.
like, are people in New York? Do they just have big ass ladders just
That
chilling
is.
in their crib, like that is conveniently like
Yeah.
this? Like if anybody lives in New York, let me know. That's the thing. Like y'all just got ladders just in case,
Nah.
like just in case.
Nah. Nah. But I went with it because it was such a cool scene. But nah. New Yorkers don't. At least the New Yorkers that I know of don't roll like that.
Yeah, see, like Chad got stabbed, but like I said, you go back and watch those older movies. Dewey got stabbed. He shouldn't even made it out the second movie.
Hmm.
To be real, the way he got stabbed up like that, and I feel like Chad's just the new Dewey in a way.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know what I'm
nah. Well,
saying?
he got stabbed by two people at one time, stabbing the fuck out of him. So I'm like, either those knives are dull, or they just weak as hell. Or Chad took super soldier serum because there's no way he should have survived that.
With the Mindy's kill, like that, even if she got stabbed and it got pulled up, I think you could still survive that. She was just hopped up on drugs and shit, so her
Yeah.
adrenaline was running. Even though it did kind of look goofy, like she should have just still been like, out for the count. But I have a theory on why they didn't kill certain people. Obviously, to like subvert expectations, because like the people that you think they was going to die didn't die. A lot, the core four, which I like the naming of that. It's started to catch on with me. Um, but going back to some of the
So
worst
was
ki-
that? So was that the worst kill for you? The ladder kill.
that, and I will say there was one. I have no issues with the third act. Really looking back at it, besides one thing, it's when Sam and Detective Bailey are up there and they're charging to each other. Where he's got a gun, she's got he's got the gun and she's got like a knife or some shit. I forget how it went, but he had a gun. But instead of shooting her, say he just
Hmm.
runs towards her and then they fall. And that was kind of goofy. They could have just
Yeah.
done that better. But other than that, I don't have that many gripes. The soap opera stuff with like Sam and the boyfriend. I mean, I guess because it's Scream and they always got that kind of little aspect thrown into there somewhere. But other than that, don't have that big of an issue with this movie. Not too many negatives. Like maybe another watch, I'll find something, but
Hmm.
I don't really have too big of negatives besides that goddamn ladder, bro. That ladder I've been thinking about that shit like forever now. It's just stuck with me because it's like there's no way somebody just has a whole like 6 foot ladder just chilling in their
Yeah.
house and they just, you know what I'm saying? That dude's
Yeah.
suspect anyways. I don't trust the boyfriend neither because they always say don't trust the love interest.
Hmm.
He made mention of like a family, like who are you related to? But
Right.
what are some of the worst kills for you, or just negative stuff like
Well, actually, that ladder scene was probably my favorite kill, just because I'm
that?
afraid of heights. So that whole scene just gave me anxiety. Like my anxiety was through the roof. I'm extremely afraid of heights. So that whole thing where they're walking across the ladder, I'm like, I feel like I watched it in Dolby on a big ass screen. So I felt like I was in the ladder almost about to fall. So like I had that feeling, like that feeling like when you dream and you fall in your dream. Like
Yeah, I hate that.
I was getting that, man. So yeah, that kill. So when your girl got on the ladder and he went to shaking it and she fell off and she bust her shit. Yeah, to me that was the kill that stood out the most. And I will say, hell, when he did kill somebody, they were all good, but it's the people that he didn't kill is what I had the problem with, because everybody he killed was expendable. Like, you didn't give a fuck about them. But it's like they didn't take no chances, no risks. They didn't, like, I guess they're thinking about sequels, but it's like, come on, man. Like, the whole point of a slash movie, slash, you know, and part of the slashing is a main character that you've grown to like. You know, we're gonna get our heart broken. That's the nature of the beast. You watch Dream Warriors. Look, if it was up to me, all the Dream Warriors would have survived, but they had to go.
Yeah,
you know, and the ones that did survive died in the next movie, like my boy Kincaid. You know, so yes, when he did kill, they were all good kills. All of them were good.
Yeah,
but I just got pissed off when he couldn't kill. Like, come on, man, Gail's still alive? Are you serious?
And that's why it's interesting rewatching this, because now that we know who the killers are, we know who was sent to kill who, because it was Quinn that went after Gail. So it makes sense that she got away, because she obviously is way more skilled at fighting than Quinn is. Because if they would have said if it was Detective Bailey himself, he would have cleared it. He would have murked Gail, because he was playing around. Because you could always tell, and even with Ethan, you could tell that he was the one that killed. He was involved with that ladder shit,
right?
You know. Because it was so convenient that he just pops up at the same time that the father does, and you know what I'm saying.
Right.
And it seemed like and that's why I kind of like about the motivation of these Ghostface, because they're not going by any of the movies or any of the stab movies. They're purely just going off of like revenge.
Yeah.
And the utilization of just the mask and how that was kind of used as like Easter eggs, that was really dope. I like that. To where he's making up his own rules, but what fucked them up is Gail and Kirby. I don't think they suspected them to help, you know, because Gail was the one that kind of put two and two together, and that's why they ended up having to go after her to try to kill her, because she was the only one that could really like fumble their plans. If it wasn't for Gail and Kirby, they probably, because they were kind of clueless. Even though all the signs were there, that's why I like even knowing who the killer is ahead of time, just to kind of see their plan, like kind of just play out.
Right.
And just the fact that he literally kind of gives them clues, like he makes it kind of obvious for them, but they're just so wrapped up in just, you know, what happened to them previously that they can't even think straight. Compared to somebody like Sydney and like Gail, they've been through this, so they already know the procedures, and you know, and Kirby's been doing this for like 10 years. So and it's interesting. That's what's interesting about it.
So
but,
Kirby, so is Kirby the Hayden Panettiere character?
Yeah, she's from 4. She's from 4.
She's from 4. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, I know she was in one of them. And I tell you, another thing that was a giveaway too was the voice, right? The voice modulator. So in one scene where he was talking, it sounded like an old person. Like you could tell, like it was somebody like that was older. So that's when I put it together. I was like, okay, that's the father, that's the cop. You know, but okay, it took me a little bit longer to realize it was the boy, because if you notice, at least to me, what I noticed was that Ghostface looked like he was like bigger, more menacing, more stronger than he usually is. Because the Ghostface I remember wasn't that, you know, the kind of scrawny, kind of, you know, it's easy to kick his ass. But this one he looked like he ain't play around.
But also like you could kind of tell that they all have the bulletproof vest. So like that's a key thing that they, you know what I'm saying, it kind of makes you a little bit stock. But you could definitely tell like when Ghostface pulls up to that bodega. The craziest thing, I never thought I'd see Ghostface pull up in a bodega.
Right.
And he just straight murks people. That's why I was like, yeah, this is interesting. And just the way he talks to his victims, it's like it makes sense now that he's like, it would be a cop, because like how would he know all this information about you and stuff? It's just, and it's interesting just how their plan was so layered out that they've been chilling around them for like 6 months, right? You know, just planning this stuff. And Yeah. So you got any more worst kills or like negatives?
Worst kills, negatives. Yeah, that's it. I feel like somebody from the main group should have died. Give us a heartbreaking scene, and then next movie, I guess they'll be mourning that. And also just Ghostface himself. I mean, yeah, to your point, yeah, I agree. I like the whole thing of anybody can be Ghostface, and they can be sitting right next to you, laughing in your face, and that makes it scary. But just as a slasher dude, like he's got to be one of the worst slashers ever. What I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Throughout all the movies, man. Like, I mean, look, when I see a slasher, I want to be frightened. Like, okay, this dude, if I'm alone with him, I'm probably not going to make it out alive.
Mm-hmm.
And I happen to get spoiled with Art the Clown because look, when Art the Clown zones in on you, oh, that's it. You ain't getting out of there. You know what I'm saying? if you're in a Terrifier movie, damn near everybody dies. Nobody's safe. And so when you watch this, you feel like everybody's safe because everybody lives, just like in the last movie. So Ghostface, at no point did I ever feel like this is somebody that could kill me. If you put Ghostface in front of me, I'll fuck him up. Like Billy and Stu, put Billy and Stu in front of me. I ain't saying I'm a tough guy, but I will fuck Billy and Stu up.
But that's the thing. That's the thing though. About Ghostface, and especially in this movie, that he would pop up at any point. Like he'll just
Yeah.
break into your crib. He's
Right.
normally just very stealthy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
He's very stealthy. He doesn't want you to be seen just yet. But like once he calls you, he's somewhere in your house, and that's why I think the element of surprise makes him a compelling, like kind of slasher. Where Jason and all of them, you'll just see them coming from a mile away. Like they'll just be walking really slow towards you, unless if you get 09 Jason and he just running sprinting. That's a shot.
I forgot. I forgot. Jason number 9 was running his ass off. Yeah.
Shouts to what's that, Granddaddy Otaku?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's a plow because I think they explained that they were just going under fake names. I'm sure. I don't think that
they were different names. Yeah, I think so. I think they're just using fake names just to, I guess, cover, cover their tracks. Yeah, and that too. So the whole reveal thing, to me, with these Scream movies, when they do the reveal, it reminds me of a Scooby-Doo episode. Like, like unmasking. I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you meddling kids. So the whole movie is working, bro. Like the kills are working. Everything is like the suspense. Everything's working, right? And then it comes to the end. Now the reveal comes. They become mustache twirling villains. Oh, well, this is part of my diabolical plan. And so we set this up and you killed my son. And so my daughter and I came up with a diabolical plan to stop you kids.
That is classic Scream, though. Like, because even when like Billy and Stu, like once they get revealed, they just go crazy and shit. It just seems like a thing. It would be cool to have like a more calm, cool. I guess the third one would be kind of calm and cool, collective, not as like over the top. But I think that's what really makes these Ghostface killers interesting,
Yeah.
And once you see their plan and stuff, like that's what's interesting to me about like this is the first Scream movie where it doesn't like center around like the stab movies because it always usually goes back to like something with Billy and all them, but it is really Sam and Tara's own story. It's like that's their own beef and whatnot. Now, let's get into the best kills, which are the positives and stuff. Like I'll start off by saying, like I liked all the kills. Like people that are dead, like those were cool. I liked the therapist that got like the blade in the nostril. That was fucking crazy.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Yeah.
The opening kill where you just see that close up of him just gutting him and just shanking the shit out of him. I think the latter one is probably going to be the most brutal next to Tara killing Ethan.
Yeah.
Where that was such the coldest line though, like where they're fighting the Baileys and stuff like that, or Richie's family. And after Tara kills Ethan, it pans up to to Sam, and she kind of gives this grin and says, "Huh, looks like you lost another brother or some shit." I was like, "Damn, just that delivery was crazy." And it's just like, and then she just shoots Quinn in the head. But
Yeah.
I honestly I like the twist of Quinn just like kind of faking her death because I wasn't thinking too much of it at the time when I first watched it. I was like, "Oh damn, she's dead." But then like I said, I don't think it's really an issue when you can tell who the killer is. It's just
Right.
interesting to see how their plan plays out. And I like the scene with Gail, where she pulls kind of a Sydney from Scream 5. Instead of hanging up on Ghostface, she's like, "Oh, puts him on hold," and then calls it back to just see where he's at. That was pretty interesting and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then we have Sam's killing Detective Bailey at the end multiple times. She doing that. She making that shit artsy as fuck. Like,
oh yeah, she's
but,
surgical with that knife, ain't she? Like, look, I thought they were going to do like a Tommy Jarvis with her. Like, if you remember Tommy Jarvis, he was Friday the 13th. He was the Corey Feldman character. Yeah, so remember how he shaved his head like Jason, and then to set Jason up to kill him. But when he started stabbing him with that machete, he just kept going. So in a lot of ways, he became the next Jason. So I thought they were setting up where she becomes the next Ghostface because she keeps seeing Billy, and then she obviously knows she has a lust for blood. So when she keeps stabbing you, boy, I'm like, oh shit. I said, okay, so next movie. Could we be seeing a transformation type thing where she starts?
That's one of my things that I want to talk about in the predictions because I called that back at the end of Scream 5. I was like, I have to make this video. How is nobody picking up what Sam's talking about? Because back in 5, if you remember, where she wakes up and tells Richie like, "Yo, I had a dream." You know what I'm saying? Where she you see old boy with the car, he gets stabbed in the neck real quick. I was like, Sam did that shit.
Yeah. I mean, and like they're giving you hints about it because it's in her DNA. Because didn't the mask? They said the mask came from her grandmother. So I guess the mask belonged to Billy's mom or whatever, or something like that.
Yeah. Well, they were just going through. They were going through all the different killers, and one of the killers in the second one was Mrs. Loomis and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, it's just, and I love that. I love that about her because, you don't need to make another Sidney Prescott. Let Sam be her own thing. Let her tap into that darkness because where they could possibly go with it, I have some theories. But some more highlights, I would say, or best kills would be, I like the whole scene with Mindy in the train. That was really dope.
Yeah.
Kind of building into that claustrophobic kind of stuff and. Just the sound design in that scene was really well done where, it reminds me of that tunnel scene in Willy Wonka.
Right.
And you just see all the flashing lights and then you could just kind of hear all these disinviting voices and you see all these Ghostface while it's panning to to Minnie back to, the other groups and they're trying to figure out is Ghostface on this train or is it on this train? And you see the Ghostface that's sitting down. That's Quinn, while fucking Ethan is watching.
Right.
And he gives off this look too, but Ethan kind of definitely gave that shit away though because the way he responded to certain things and the fact that you don't see none of those two actually have a lot of dialogue outside of what they're given. So it kind of I could see people putting that together. Those two together.
Oh yeah, I did, and it's funny you mentioned Willy Wonka because that train scene, even though I could see that what you're talking about, but that train sequence reminded me of Predator 2, with and the subway scene where the Predator jumps on top of the train and lights go to flashing and shit. Yeah, I was getting Predator 2 vibes from that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then, now we go to the twist, the big reveal at the end.
You damn kids! I almost got away with it.
Pretty much, yeah. That's what I said. I thought the twist was pretty unique. Like I said, Bailey seemed like he's been planning out this pretty well, but the fact that he was not hip to these movies, and that's why I kind of liked about it, where they were like the group was so focused on them thinking like, oh, they're just trying to remake the movies that they didn't
Right.
think that like, this might just be a revenge plot or something like that. So it completely threw them off and threw Mindy off because she thought she had it figured out. Even though some of the things when she was breaking down the rules in a very Randy fashion and stuff, because even Randy in the second one, he pretty much said like, yeah, Mickey's the killer and stuff, and
Right.
I like that saying like we have to have a bigger cast, bigger budget, subvert expectations. And I think that was part of it where the subverting of our expectations, like we're expecting multiple people to die when a lot more of the main characters have survived, which, like I said, I'm gonna wait till I get into my predictions on why
Yeah.
that is. But
Well,
yeah,
I
how
like I
did you,
liked I liked her character just because when she said that Psycho 2 was very underrated, I said, "Yo, me and her could chill out and have a beer because I like the way she thinks." Because that's a criminally underrated movie. So when she said Psycho 2, I was like, "Yes, I fucks with her." But I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm saying like, but Granddaddy Otaku, he said like he likes Chaz's death, even though he got
Ah,
plot. That's why I said everybody got plot armor. That's why I said like Gail's been shot a few times, like in Scream 2. Like that's to say, Scream 2, Dewey and Gail should have died. But
yeah.
of course, they wanted to like keep them alive to keep making sequels and stuff like that. So that's just going to be a ongoing thing that they're going to poke fun at.
But dude,
Um,
but they were stabbing the fuck out of him though, man. Two
yeah,
people.
I see it like this, right? And this is another theory going into my predictions because there's another theory that people think that Stu is still alive,
Mm,
and because when I rewatched it, it was just like, who's to say he's not alive though? He didn't survive that because we never really, there's always mention of him. Because I always think of it like this: if 50 Cent could get shot 9 times and live, you could get stabbed like multiple times and be okay. You
Stu,
know,
well, remember Stu got a TV like thrown on top of his face and
but like
electrocuted
how
him.
far? But it fell on him. But how far? It was probably like 4 feet, like 3 feet. You know what I'm saying? You could still survive that. Like
Yeah,
you gotta see four though. You gotta see four because like
yeah, I'll check out for because
yeah,
I mean the stabbing and the Scream universe, yeah, Stu could have survived that. But you throw like because remember those old school TVs now, like
them
that's
just
my
as
era.
heavy. Them just
Oh
bricks.
man, you ever try to lift one of them, take him up the stairs?
Yeah,
Yeah, so when that shit fell on him and the glass broke and electrocuted him, I said, "Oh yeah, he done for."
yeah. He
Unless
could
he
have
fell.
just been. That's to say he could have been knocked out because even Kirby said like I died for 4 minutes. So who's to say like the same thing didn't happen to Stu and whatnot, and he
Yeah.
just like he was pronounced dead, but he wasn't really dead. He pulled like a Art the Clown at the corner and just like and he's just pulling the strings behind the scenes, which would be awesome. I'm gonna get into that with my theories
Okay,
though.
okay.
Yeah, like I said, I think the twist it works for me. It's kind of your standard. You know what I'm saying? It's just
Mhm.
like the fact that there's three Ghostface that's never been done before. So
Right.
technically there are six Ghostfaces. People are saying there's five, but I would say that there's is there five? Wait, there's Jason in the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
Detective, Ethan.
And the
Wait, who's
daughter.
the fifth one? Okay, so no, the Sam would be the fifth killer.
Right, yeah, because she
Technically,
did. Yeah, so it was five. Yeah, so yeah, your boy.
five
Damn.
Ghostfaces.
Yeah. So yeah, Flash Thompson. Yeah, the
That
cop, the
was him.
son, the daughter. Yes, that's Flash. Yep, and
You
yeah,
know,
Sam.
you know
Yeah.
what's you know what's funny also that I seen on TikTok. Somebody was like posted a picture of Jack Champion, the guy that plays Ethan,
Mm-hmm.
and what he looked like in Avatar, and like you could see how young he is in Avatar compared to how he is now. Like it's just crazy.
Oh,
That's
he was an
weird as fuck.
Avatar.
Yeah, he
Oh,
was fuck the boy. Who was the boy? What the fuck? Why I can't
the oldest son or the younger one, the one that was always in trouble.
the human boy.
Oh, shit. Yeah, I call him Takashi 69. Okay, that was him.
Yeah. That's him.
Oh shit! I didn't even
Yeah.
realize that. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. He's mad older now. Like they felt
right.
that like a while ago. Like that's crazy to see that shit.
Damn, I didn't even notice that. Yeah, that's what's up. I forgot what his name was in Avatar, but yeah, there's a big difference there.
But who's to say? A lot of people are trying to dismiss his death. Like he could have, falsified that, has some inside. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna get into that.
Yeah.
But before I get into that, I want to kind of. I know you haven't seen all the movies, but here are my rankings. If you haven't
Okay.
seen it on my TikTok already, I'll put it.
This is my ranking of the Scream movies so far.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Okay.
make sure you go follow me on TikTok as well because I put a bunch of content on there as well. So
Nice.
that was my rankings. Based off of what you've seen, how would you rank the movies, the four movies that you've seen?
Yeah, I would agree with number 1 and 2. Yeah, I would put that first one first. Of course, I don't think nothing's ever going to top that first one. Then I will put this one right behind number 1, and then 2, and then that the one that came out last year. That one that came out last year, I was not a fan of really at all. I just wasn't feeling that one.
That is true. Six Ghostface. I got to double. That makes me want to go watch this again because this is the first time, like in a long time, that my theaters put out like 12 o'clock shows. And it's like, damn,
Mhm.
I haven't seen one of those in a minute.
But hold up. But even though we never actually see I guess the dude's Flash's lover as the other Ghostface. We know that they're doing it together, but we never actually see him as Ghostface.
He's
So that shouldn't
yeah,
count.
he was in the freezer.
Yeah, he was in the freezer. Yeah, chopped up.
That's
So
cold, bro. That's
yeah,
just crazy. I was like, yeah, that has to be the illest Ghostface though. Like he was about that. He should have probably just done the shit by himself. His kids probably fucked it up though. His kids
Mhm.
was, what I'm saying. But
Right.
they had that almost planned to a T. I just think with Gail and Kirby involved, that fucked up everything for them. To where they had to
Mhm.
and even after the bodega scene, I think you could even see like sweat on the dude, like he's been like running around or some shit like that. But
I
that's
didn't
another.
even notice that.
Yeah. So to close things off, I wanted to talk about predictions for seven.
Okay.
I'll do a separate video for this, for anybody that wants to check that out. But I have like three ideas, right? Since they're all, oh man, you didn't see the third one, but fuck it. Since it seems like all these movies recently have been mirroring, like reflective of past movies, like five redid the first one, six kind of touched on two, three. There's a way that they can bring back Stu. That's the way you bring back Stu. But how I
Mm,
would do it, you kill Gale in the opening scene.
yeah.
That's what brings back Sydney.
Okay.
And then after that, like, you start to see the characters that should have died really die. And now this Ghostface starts to aim for the head
Mm,
more, or just he gets a little bit more vicious. He's just a little bit more precise. He starts just knocking people off till the till till it's just like probably Sam, Sydney, uh, and like Kirby left. It's like those three. It's those
mm,
three, the people's favorite final girls and stuff. It's just those three left and Ghostface. Now, second one is where Sam just goes full Ghostface. She goes full
that's
Ghostface,
what I'm thinking. That's what I'm thinking.
and it's gonna be and I still think Gail could die because that's gonna be because
She needs to.
you have to have a good reason to have Sydney come back into this and like have to finish all this.
Hmm.
And it would be dope for it to be the final showdown. Is if the daughter of Billy Loomis was facing off with facing off against
Sydney.
Sydney,
Yeah.
or hell, even I would even like this too. This would be so much different too. As if, Sam and Tara became a duo, like a Ghostface duo or some shit like that. That would be something, because we've never seen that, like them flip the perspective, and we get like this whole villain origin kind of. And the last
that's
movie,
what Halloween. That's what Halloween tried to do, even though it didn't execute it that well. I mean, personally, I didn't mind it, but yeah, that's what the last Halloween movie tried to do. But if they can do it right, they might could pull it off.
because that's the only way I see them kind of closing Sydney's story for good is if Stu comes back, something happens to Gail. You know what I'm saying? But now my straight up wild card, because I'm not counting the Scream TV show, season 3, but we've never seen a black Ghostface. And that makes me think about the twins, because that whole theory that people thought that Randy was a killer and stuff. What if the person that knows all this movie knowledge was the killer and stuff? It'll kind of go back to the whole kind of teasing Scream 4 a little bit, but it'd go back to that a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Kind of bring it full circle, and they do this whole double cross thing, like, because she says something like, yo, what if one of y'all, I think it was Quinn that said when they were all breaking down the rules, like, what if one of y'all went crazy, or just more than one of y'all went crazy, or just like this shit a little bit too much. But it doesn't rule out Tara too, because Tara, like, she seemed like she enjoyed that a little bit too much too.
She did. But it was that moment also when Sam looked at the mask, almost as if the mask was like talking to her, or calling out to her or something. Like the mask had her in a trance, and then of course she snaps out of it, then drops it on the ground. So I think that's enough, hint right there to say, yeah, next movie, you're gonna see that transition from hero to villain, like Anakin Skywalker type shit. Even though I know you don't too much fuck with Star Wars, but I'm sorry, I always got to use the Anakin analogy whenever I talk about somebody going from good to bad, because that's like the perfect, so that's like the perfect character.
And it might be a mixture of things. I can see a mixture of things. I definitely think that we're going to see like a darker side of Sam in the next one. Maybe Tara's going to be the one to kind of bring her back. And it doesn't necessarily have to be Stu. It could be somebody that's connected to Stu, that's been behind the scenes, messing with things and stuff like that. I think and that's what's really dope about this movie as well, because now it's just like I have no idea what they're gonna go with now, because it's like, who else is on the list, and who else wants like how are they gonna get Sydney out of hiding, or who's gonna be the next antagonist or the next Ghostface? Because if it's I'm only speaking if like Scream 7 is the final movie, which I doubt it will be, but it could be the final one to kind of wrap things up with like Sam and whatnot. And
with this,
we could possibly
cast of characters,
because I could see it like 7, 8, or 7, 8, 9, 10. That would be like they could probably do something with like Sydney's kids or something like that, where they have to deal with the stuff, which would be interesting too. Why not go crazy with it?
Now, hold on. I got a question. I don't know if they explained this in the last movie, bro, but okay, so Billy was fucking around on Sydney back in school, and that's how he got Sam. Like he got somebody pregnant while he was fucking with Sydney.
Whoever Sam's mom is, that's who she was fucking with back in the day. Which we haven't seen Sam's mom, which that's another that's another suspect. I don't give a fuck. Like that could be another suspect.
Because it's just crazy to me, because Billy, the whole first movie, he was trying to get in Sydney's drawers. You know what I'm saying? He was trying to fuck with the whole movie. And so, but in the meantime, he already had a side piece that he already impregnated. So I just think that's funny, man. Then once he finally does get Sydney, he dies that same night. Ain't that some shit?
Yeah, I see a lot of people don't want Stu to come back because they feel like that would ruin. Yeah. But if they just do it in a really dope way, just to have it, because I always felt like, because there's always this theme that like, yo, Billy always gets the credit and nobody really remembers Stu, and I feel like Stu would want that, his recognition and stuff in all of this, because it's like Billy wouldn't even be able to do this if it wasn't for me type shit.
Right.
You know,
Because
they
I'm
could.
assuming Stu did most of the killing, right?
I have to rewatch. I gotta rewatch it again because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Even
Yeah,
though I just watched that shit like a week ago, but
yeah.
but yeah, it's just fascinating where this series could go, or just this whole franchise. You know,
Mm-hmm.
like I said, if seven ends, I'm just thinking of if seven's going to be the final Scream movie that we're ever going to get, that will deal with finales. We could possibly get some like that's where we get our Game of Thrones at, and that's why they have been. That's why so many people survived after six, so they get ready to just kill them off one by one. Stuff.
Well, that's all going to depend on how well the box office receipts go. So if the so called last Scream movie does ridiculous amounts of money, oh trust me,
Mhm.
we're gonna see another one real soon. But if it doesn't, then like Michael Myers, they got to put him through the fucking meat grinder and they done.
Yeah, and it's crazy because going into this, I was thinking that they were going to go like, as a lot of people thought they were going to go the cult route, like because a
Hmm.
lot of like a lot of slashers have been going down that route,
Right,
and that'd have been interesting, and that probably still exists. That's probably still an idea that might be something for seven, where you just got multiple Ghostface going around killing people, and
hmm
and like at the same time you got Sam out here like Batman, dressed up as Ghostface, killing other Ghostface. I always thought that would be cool. It'd be cheesy, but like having vigilante Ghostface is like that's really interesting to me. Like
Listen, I'll
I
be
don't know.
that's different, bro. Like if we can get away from the norm and do something different, that's why I love the way this movie opened up because even though it did kind of mirror the first Scream, but it did something, it kind of went different with it. So yeah, just give me something a little different, man. Like the same, don't give me the same formula all the time, you
Yeah,
know.
yeah. Because the same
So,
formula, it can get stale.
right,
But like I feel like it hasn't gotten stale with Scream just yet, just because they don't have as many sequels as
facts,
the other slashers. Like Chucky is completely gone crazy, which I appreciate it because it knows what it wants to be. It wants to be over the top and whatnot. Halloween has to kind of get back on its footing, even though I didn't hate kills or ends. I still think
right,
that Scream 5 and 6 are way better.
hmm
I think they handle the legacy characters much better. Now
right,
they do this is what they need to do to make things right with Nev Campbell for her to come back, right? For Scream 7, give her her money and
hmm
give her an EP on that movie.
mm,
That's how you
okay,
make shit right.
yeah.
Make her an executive producer on there. That's how you make shit right.
Is that what she's asking for? That's why she held out.
Well, like it was mostly the money because they were trying to like give her less money.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, and she was like, nah. And that's why she's not in this movie. But you could clearly tell that she was supposed to be in this movie. Like when they're in that shrine and you see like Kirby and Gale, like Sydney should be right there too, and just they're all following the legacy characters. Like that, they want that moment. I know they want that moment.
Yeah,
Probably why.
there needs to be a big death, man. I mean, I was arguing with somebody yesterday. It was like, well, Jamie Lee Curtis survived the Halloween movies. I said, not exactly. She died in Resurrection, but they try to
Yeah.
retcon that movie. But technically speaking, Laurie Strode did die at the hands of Michael Myers. So
Mhm.
there needs to be a big death, like a Tony Stark type death that kind of fucks everybody up. Like every franchise has, like, dude, my heart broke when Nancy died. I didn't want Nancy to die, but it was necessary for the series to keep going. But you have to have that death, man. So I don't know if it's got to be Sydney or Gail or somebody big got to go. They can't keep letting everybody
Yeah,
live.
Gale's next on the chopping block. If not her, is Kirby.
Yeah.
But so Destroyer said his ranking is number 6 is Scream 3, 5 is Scream 5, that's Scream 4 is Scream 1, 3 is Scream 4, 2 is Scream 6, and then his number 1 is Scream 2. That's
Oh
a
wow.
solid. That's a solid list because a lot of people. That's another thing too. Like a lot of people got different lists and different rankings and stuff. Like
Hmm.
I've never seen nobody. I've rarely seen people with the same ranking as me. So
Yeah. Wow. But to have Scream 4 at number 4, I mean Scream 1 at number 4. Wow, that's low for the first one.
mhm.
Yeah, that's dope.
It's weird for some people, you know. It took me a while to come around to appreciating that and
The first
actually
one?
seeing, yeah, when like, because I understood its impact, but I never
Mhm.
like it wasn't until I got older until I was like, okay, I understand like why people love this and just the intrigue of it. You know, it's the same thing with Halloween. Because I was never like the
Yeah.
biggest Halloween fan, but then as you get older, you could just have that appreciation watching those movies again. It's
Oh
like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
this
Because
is.
at the time, that '96 at the time, yeah, there was nothing like that movie. You know, like I said,
Mhm,
I was a senior in high school when that came out, and yeah, there was nothing like it, bro. I was like, wow, that was okay.
mhm.
Even though it wasn't the scariest movie in the world, but it was clever. You know what I'm saying? It was a fresh take on the horror genre that we've never seen. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
like I said, it took what he did with New Nightmare and just took it to the next level.
yeah,
You
and
know what I mean?
that's why I like about slashers like Terrifier 2, where I don't want that to necessarily, even though in my head I'd be like that should be the bar for like any
Yes,
slasher, but
yes,
but I'm saying not as like gory as that, but it needs to be gory. Like, you know, Scream really pushed it for that franchise, or like, you know, the brutality in those new Halloween movies. Like, we need to get more brutal. Stop cutting away from kills. I'm looking at you, Candyman. That's another negative. I forgot to put that in my negatives,
okay.
where Mindy and Kirby, they agree that both the Candyman original and the remake are
Yeah,
good.
yeah,
Like, no,
yeah.
we're not doing that. No, don't put
Well,
that.
so
Don't.
I forgot. I forgot. You ain't like that movie.
No, don't. We not doing that shit. We not doing that shit. Okay.
Well, you know what? I did get Phantom Menaced by Candyman because I saw it in a packed house. You know, everybody was there, everybody was into the movie. So when I did my review, I said, "Man, this is a masterpiece. This is great." And then when I watched it the second time in an almost empty theater with my daughter, I said, "Damn, this shit's not as good as I thought it was."
Absolutely not. It's just like,
Yeah.
what the fuck. Um, Granddaddy Otaku, he put his ratings are 1, 4, 2, 5, 6, and 3.
Mm,
I
love it.
love them all differently. Yeah,
Yeah.
like they're not, none of them are really bad like that. Like they all have their uniqueness about them and whatnot, and you know that's what's cool about it.
Yeah, and I want to say this too, man. Like, yeah, Terrifier 2 spoiled me because, well, I discovered
Hmm.
Terrifier 1 last year as well. So I watched 1, and then 2 months later, 2 dropped. So those are like, that's slasher like 101, bro. That like, that's everything. Those 2 movies are everything that I want a slasher movie to be. So when I do watch like a Halloween or like this one, I get it that these are studio films. So with the studio film,
Yeah,
they can't, you know, because they have the MPA rating or whatever. Whereas
yeah,
Terrifier 2 is an independent film that's not rated, but 2 proved that people are still going to come out in droves to watch that movie because, you know, totally independent, no studio backing, but it still made a shit ton of money. So
yeah.
there is a market for those type of films.
And,
So
and you look at the X trilogy. That's might be the best horror trilogy. If Maxine is really good,
mhm.
if they knock that movie out the park, that might be up for the best like horror trilogy.
Horror trilogy. I gotta go back and watch X because X I couldn't take seriously.
But when you watch that and you watch Pearl, like that shit
Right.
just it's really interesting because like we've never got that kind of perspective like from the villains.
Hmm.
You know, we're focusing more on it's more about the story of the villains and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I just couldn't because like I said, man, I want to I want to look at a slasher or a killer and be like, this person could do me in. And so I watch so I watch movies like Scream, like man, I'll fuck Ghostface up, you know. Or when I watch a movie like X, I'm like, they're old. They are old. I said, you
but
just
that's that
I
but the
said you take
looks are deceiving though because now but they underestimated Pearl and now they're all dead and shit like
yeah,
she's just
yeah.
killing them like easily. Um but
Yeah. But I
but
mean,
wow.
and as an old person, do you even have the strength? Like you got arthritis and everything. Like the dude couldn't even get his dick up, or you even have a
You
heart
also
attack.
gotta think. You also gotta think like between
Yeah,
Pearl and X, like how many people have they been killed? They've been doing this shit for
they've
like
been doing it for a minute. Yeah,
like how many bodies are in that in that like have they fed to that crocodile back there and
yeah,
stuff
that's true.
like.
That's true too. I mean, yeah, because you think Oprah, like if you ever seen the first Texas Chainsaw Massacre, man, where the grandpa couldn't even barely move. I'm like, yeah, that's you know that's real old people. Like, dude, you can barely move. You know when he kept trying to have the grandpa hit the girl in the head with the hammer. You ever see the first?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was like, hit her, grandpa, hit her, hit the bitch.
Hit the bitch. Yeah. That was a wild movie. But what I like about the X franchise, it just feels refreshing. Like it feels familiar, but it feels refreshing at the same time, especially with Pearl. It's just an interesting concept, you know, with them going like Pearl X Maxine, and that's the whole that's brilliant marketing right there.
Right.
But that aside, you know, final thoughts on this movie. Are you going to be watching Scream 7?
Oh, of course, definitely. I mean, well, one, because because my channel, what I do, so when a big movie comes out, I got to check it out. But not all of them. I'm not watching Dungeons and Dragons, so. But I'm just saying, yeah, for the sake of the channel, I got to watch and review it. And because I did like this one a lot better than 5, I will definitely be tuning in to Scream 7.
Go on Tubi. I think it's on Tubi. Go on Tubi, or do you got Paramount?
No, I don't.
Or just try to find. Or I'll send you a link. Yo, watch 4, bro. Okay. Just watch 4. You'll just be like, yo, this shit's fire.
Okay.
But yeah, I know about this Granddaddy Otaku All Hallows Eve. That's where art comes from. Also, I found this out as well on somebody just posted this, like he found out that the person that does the Scream voice also did Mojo Jojo's voice in Powerpuff Girls, which blew my mind.
Oh,
when I was like, wow, that's crazy.
Damn.
I think his first appearance though, Utaku, is it's something called something 9 Circles, something with the circles or something like that. Before All Hallows Eve, I remember seeing somebody talking about that. It was like a movie that came in like 2009 or something like that. I don't know. I'm going to double check and look at that.
Yeah, because I thought it was All Hallows Eve as well. It is on Tubi. I just looked up Scream 4. It's on Tubi.
Yes, watch that once we get that. But you got anything coming down the line? You watching Shazam next week?
Yes, my son already told me. He said, "We watching Shazam?" I said, "Yes, we are." So, I'm taking my son to see Shazam probably Thursday or Friday because they're in spring break right now. So I'll be taking them probably Thursday or Friday, catching matinee. Just with the TV shows, man. I've been BMF, Bel Air, Snowfall, Godfather of Harlem, and the Wu-Tang Saga. So I've got my these shows.
Have you watched From yet?
No, not yet.
Watch From like that. Just subscribe to MGM Plus and just enjoy that. Also watch Yellow Jackets. Like those two are like my favorite new horror shows that came out last year, and their season 2 starts soon. Like season 2 of Yellow Jackets starts soon. But you also watch I could probably send you the first episode because I think they still got that on YouTube. I think MGM Plus, they allow you to just watch the first 3 episodes for free or something like that.
Yeah, I need to switch it up. Yeah, because all these shows I'm watching, like I'm starting to get gangstered out. Like I don't watch so many shows about drugs that I feel like I can start dealing drugs if I wanted to. You know what I'm saying? I think I know enough about the drug game now to get into it, like all the terminology and stuff, and like dude, like and BMF. I can't even take BMF seriously anymore. BMF is becoming
it is kind of getting kind of goofy. It is getting kind of goofy, but it's like it's definitely like 50's not a part of that shit no more. Like that's what it seemed like. But did you last thing on Scream though? Did you get a poster when you left?
No, I didn't get a poster. Nah, I got one for Creed. Now when I saw Creed, they gave me a poster. I took like 3 posters, but I didn't get a poster for Scream.
You usually you go to AMC. Yeah, you go to AMC. They should have extra ones. You could probably go up there, like, because they had like a stack of them. They gave me 2, but then I fucked around and like left them in the theater. It's like, damn, I'll just go back and get another 2 because I gave one to my nephew because he just be collecting like posters and stuff.
Yeah,
like me and my brother was getting back and forth. He's like, he didn't like it because my nephew's like 11, about to be 12. I was like, it's not that serious. It's the one where he's like hovering over New York and stuff like that. Like it's that dope one. I was like, there's no blood in this. There's nothing, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
He doesn't like scary movies, but he's like, this is a cool poster. And I was like, okay.
Yeah, no, the poster's tight. Like I said, it gives me Jason Takes Manhattan vibes
Yeah.
which is probably the most like false advertisement for a movie ever, because if you watch Jason Takes Manhattan, most of the movie's on a fucking boat.
Yeah. That's pretty much that's the last two of the legacy horror slashers that need to come back. Like we just need Nightmare and and Friday the 13th and Freddy vs. Jason 2. Let's make it happen.
Well, I tell you what, no, but I've been digging these fan films that they've been doing for Friday the 13th, because like we said with Terrifier, what the appeal of those movies is that as independent films, they can do what they want, So if we bring back Jason and give him the Paramount or whatever, like a major studio, we're not going to get that Jason that we know and love, because now things are more censored. You know what I mean? So if you check out some of the fan films, like what's the one that came out last year that Q Reviews was in? I think it was called Roseblood. Something like that.
Yeah, I think I heard that. Yeah.
Check that one out. That was pretty good. Then they got one called Vengeance, Friday the 13th Vengeance, which is like a direct sequel to, I believe, Jason Lives.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So yeah, if you YouTube Friday the 13th fan films, you're welcome. Not solid movies as far as performances and nothing like that, but it gives you Jason like the way we love him, just fucking murking people.
Okay, yeah, I'm gonna check that out. Yeah, some of those fan films be really dope. So they'll get more creative. Like I know, shouts to Killjoy Jake. He made his own Scream fan films called Right Red Hand. I haven't checked it out yet, but a lot of people are liking it and stuff like that. I got to get around to watching it because I've just been so caught up in Scream and just slashers right now. I'm on a horror high right now. But yeah, like that's pretty much been the stream. I appreciate y'all pulling up. Like I have a few movie reviews coming down the pipeline right now. I got Shazam, Willem Dafoe's Inside, John Wick 4. Those are like the next movies that I want to see. Yes.
That one, yes.
And we're going to have another live stream towards the end of the month, kind of just talking about all the different things that came out this month, and just having a random discussion, pretty much. We'll see how it goes. I appreciate Awesome Destroyer and Granddaddy Otaku for popping up, and also I saw Virgo.
Yes, sir.
And anybody that's checking out the replay, make sure you hit that like button and share. Let me know how y'all felt about Scream 6 as a whole. Go check out my reviews, my non-spoiler if you haven't seen the movie yet. And if you've seen the movie, go check out the spoiler. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
Peace.